Hey guys, welcome to the Intel Masterclass. My name is Apocdud from the Chief CSGO team. Going to be going over some tips and tricks to help you improve your game today. So the topics we're going to be covering: wallbangs, how to take different angles, how to gather information safely, sites where you can throw execute utility by yourself, how to retake sites solo, and some effective boost spots. So let's get into it. So a really important thing in CS is to realize when you're going to be doing a right eye peek or a left eye peek. In this scenario here, I'm about to do a left eye peek to peek short. This is really unfavorable for me because he's going to see my body before I can see him. So I'll just show what it looks like. Basically, I'm going to be peeking in like that, and he'll be able to see me first. Now, if I instead move around and come over to this from a right side, I'll be able to see him before he can see me. So it's something that's quite important to do. So I'm going to show you some nifty wallbangs to know. It's really useful to know wallbangs for flashing out certain areas on the map easily, especially if you're an AWPer. It's very handy to know just the different spots that you can try and catch players behind walls. So a useful wallbang to know is just how to kill the T-Con player if you're standing in this position. Basically, all you need to do is, as the CT-Con AWPer, just line up as so with that white dot. So if you want to kill the CT-Con AWPer, which is a very common line, this line here, as the T-side AWPer, basically what you need to do is line up in T-Con like so against this wall, and there's a little dot there that you can aim at if you're double zoomed. So a really handy wallbang to know for nuke, to kill any player above the silo, is you jump up on this little basin here, and then just shoot through the top of the roof here, above the door, and that will kill both of these positions at the same time. It's really handy to know this to clear out anyone in a post-plant situation. So as the window AWPer on Mirage, basically it's really helpful to know how to wallbang behind the boxes. There's two different spots that you can wallbang reliably, and you don't even really need a lineup. Just kind of shoot these wooden barrels or that wooden plank there, and you can kill players in either of these two positions here. Getting info is really, really important in CSGO, as it lets you know where the enemy is. There's a couple of different ways to do that. One is by jump spotting, another one is by spotting just a really tight line called a pixel spot generally. So I'll show you a couple of different ways to do that. So first off, I'll start with vertigo. The most common jump spot to do is just at these sandbags here. You can spot the whole ramp by doing so. You just jump like this and it's very safe. This is a jump spot that's useful to know if you're one of the B players. Basically, it lets you get info on whether they're out mid very safely, just jumping and spotting window. So this is a pixel spot on nuke ramp. Basically, you just make a tight line here so that no one can really kill you, and you can hold out utility while you're doing so. So holding out a Molotov is very common, and as soon as you see anyone, you just drop the Molotov and run away. This is another pixel spot at Ivy. Basically, you just make a really tight line here so that no one's able to kill you easily, and then as soon as you see anyone cross that little gap, you just drop your smoke and fall back. So going to be showing you some solo execute utility, which is really helpful to know if you're playing pugs by yourself. Basically just ways to hit a site with just your own utility. So first up, going to be showing how to hit overpass a site just with your own utility. This is really helpful just to help your teammates get onto the site. Basically, you line up a jump up smoke like this, and then you can throw a default Molotov just by jump throwing at this position. And then this flash is really, really helpful to know, often known as the God flash. Basically, what it does is it's going to be blinding most of the spots on the A site, including this close tucked truck position. It'll blind behind default, as you can see, anyone behind the truck. An easier way to hit A site with your util is to do a progression smoke like so, and then Molotov Goose. And you can just aim in a similar spot for your flashes, which will blind anyone long or ramp, and they don't blind your teammates if they're running up cat as well. So very useful support utility. Train is notoriously difficult for pug players because the T side is very based around executes, but one way that you can throw some utility solo is just smoking off CT-Con like so, and then throwing flashes over T-Con for your teammates. These will blind anyone just in open positions like E-box or sandwich, and then you can come T-Con and lastly throw a Molotov to back bomb. So B-side vertigo is quite easy to throw solo util for. Basically, you line up a generator smoke like this, and then throw a triple Molotov like so. This will flush out the most common position on the site, which is just there. And then while your teammates are running up, you can just throw some flashes over to the left here. Basically, this will blind anyone trying to peek on the left side of the generator or anyone trying to run through that smoke. So really helpful smoke to throw on B Mirage is just a market window smoke, as that's the most common spot that people will be rotating in through. And then you can just throw flashes over like so, which will blind anyone towards jail or van. And then Molotoving out van or optionally MBK / back right is really useful as well for your team. So when your teammates inevitably lose the site, it's useful to know some solo retake util to regain the site control. So this is going to be some helpful ways to do so. So if you're retaking through jungle on A site Mirage, basically smoking off A main and molotoving Tetris is oftentimes the best way to go. These are just two really common positions in the post plant, and flushing those out is really, really useful. It's also good to throw a flash just towards Tetris, which will blind anyone trying to push through the A main smoke or anyone caught in that Molotov, and just facilitate your team getting through that retake. Now, if you're coming through CT, you can throw the exact same set of utility just by aiming in between those two buildings and aiming at that antenna for the Molotov, and that'll flush out the exact same set of positions. So retaking B-side overpass, it's very useful to smoke off short and Molotov off default. Basically, you can molly off default by just aiming at that black dot, and then smoke by aiming at this window. This will just push off anyone short and catch anyone default who's standing there after they've planted. Throwing flashes out just like this as well to push anyone off who's under heaven or at barrel is really good as well. So when you're retaking the B site on Vertigo, it's really useful to smoke off the stairs, which you just line up like so, and then Molotov off the back left catwalk. This will just basically block off anyone trying to play the post plant from the stairs position. So when you're retaking B-side Inferno, the most important thing is to throw a smoke towards Banana, as that's where a lot of people will be playing that post plant from. And then Molotoving out New Box is generally the priority, as that's a really common spot as well. You can just throw a simple one like so, and that will flush that whole area out. And then another Molotov that you can throw is just towards Dark, if you line up between these two wooden pieces, and then just run and jump throw. Basically, if you do both those Molotovs, if you have a friend with you, that will flush out the whole backside of site and allow you a really easy beat retake. Alright, so I'm going to show you some cool boosts you can do with a teammate. So this is a very uncommon boost, but basically it'll let you get a cheeky little pick on the T-spawn AWPer. Basically there's just a tiny little gap in the door there that you can see through and wallbang this AWPer in spawn. So the map boost on Overpass lets you look into bathrooms and also lets you look towards Sandwich as well, just from this weird off angle. And the leaves there will just basically let you camouflage in, so it's difficult for Ts to fight you. If you're an AWPer, this is a really, really useful boost to know, as you'll often get a lot of first picks from doing this on top of the green train. You can also see on top of red train or anyone just trying to peek back green. This is a boost that you'll see quite a bit in pro games, just to try and get a peek on anyone running across the jungle smoke. So it lets you see over the smoke quite easily, and you can see anyone crossing a triple and trying to go towards CT, and you can even see the bomb plant some of the time as well. I get asked a lot about what's the best way to become a pro at CSGO. I think there's three really good things that you can do. One is playing a lot of pugs. Another one is trying to join a team and learn that side of the game through playing together with teammates. And the third is watching a lot of demos. Thanks for watching ESL Masterclass, and I hope these tips were able to help you improve your game.